Good morning, traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live order flow examples in Bookmap, forward-looking, no hindsight, and using Bookmap to gain an edge in the understanding the behavior of traders in the auction process. Using Bookmap to gain. All right. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Just a reminder for those of you new or interested in Bookmap, if you're here for the first time, come to our onboarding webinar. It is Tuesday, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And we'll go through just the basics of Bookmap, get you up and running, and answer any questions that you have. All right, let's jump into these markets and let's see what's going on. We just had some data here at 10 a.m. It was the consumer confidence or consumer sentiment and inflation expectations from University of Michigan. You can see, I mean, we've been trading up to the 6120 level, which has been pretty key, and a pretty massive move here very quickly. You know, somewhere around, 30 points or almost 30 points in a heartbeat. Well, 20 points in a heartbeat for sure. And now we're down below the figure at 6100, and sentiment is building. We see the sellers coming in here and looking like they want to take it lower. All right, so yeah, hold on a minute here. I'm gonna kind of lighten things up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm using this version of Bookmap that you can see much longer time frames in here, which is fantastic. You will have access to that in the coming weeks. I don't have a date yet to give to you. Anyway, look pretty poised to trade right into this 85 liquidity here, and then let's look for a reaction. It's pretty high liquidity. As you guys can see, it's been in the book for a bit. So I'm looking for sellers to hit right into this. Let's see how much selling pressure there is. There they go into 85. Typically, we look for a bounce after trading into high liquidity. We're starting to get it. All right. Where might it go? Well, you know, maybe up to this little swing here, or maybe up to this swing up here. And then we'll see what comes next. So we're just up there now. Is there more buying pressure? Do we trade with high liquidity in these areas? That's what we want to determine. And then we can look for the move to either continue or fade it back into this little range here and continue on to the low downside. So anyway, yeah, we're just kind of filling in the gap in here. We continue on up to the upside. So the next area would be this 97, or maybe back to the figure here at 6100. You can see the steep drop off right up here. That's where the sellers came in. So it looks like the buyers are pretty poised to trade back up here and test those sellers up here. Okay, so you know, this is now we anticipated a bounce here, but I actually wasn't looking for much. You know, maybe up to here, as we had mentioned. You can see the profile in here looks pretty good, and then, you know, would imagine there'd be some sellers maybe trying to hit it lower. We're getting a much bigger move out of this. All right, well, why? We'll determine this here, this is a bit of hindsight in here, but we're gonna see some you know, more volatile swings in here, as you guys can see. And it was after this data release here, retraced up quite a bit and right back down, bounced at the low, and then we trade through into that 85 liquidity, and there's some liquidity here at 90 as well. Okay, so anyway, yeah, this is the main concept here with this 85 area here is its high liquidity. And we want to see that we know there's a lot of selling pressure. We want to see the reaction down in here. It traded, and then we anticipate a bounce or at least some sideways action after trading into high liquidity. Okay, that's very, very typical. We got a bigger move out of it here, and my mind, the reason being is because we've already come down quite a bit, so you're going to scoop up some buyers in here willing to take it back up into a more tradable area or value area, and that's exactly where it's traded. You can see your profile here, but we're just about to come up and test those sellers up in here like we were just talking about at 6100 figure. All right, so we're going to zoom out and look at the higher time frame in here, but hold on just a minute here. Let me make sure everything's good. You guys can hear me over on Discord and YouTube. To the chat. Yeah, good morning, Stephen and Alois. Yeah, you don't know. Maybe Trump is speaking, and that could be it as well. Yeah, you know, this is it's an odd environment when you know, the geopolitical stuff and news in these markets can be very news driven these days due to you know, politicians saying one thing and then turning around and then saying something else. And you'll see the markets react to that, right? So it makes good morning, Shark. Happy Friday. It makes the look, the order flow is the order flow. It's going to show it, and it's going to show what's going on. However, trying to read that and understand when these big moves take place, it can be very challenging, because suppose, like for example, Trump says something about you know, we're going to hold off on tariffs completely, or you know, something rather shocking. Well, you're going to see the markets like skyrocket, and you're going to see it blow through these areas of high liquidity right in here, and that would be your anticipation. You wouldn't get that bounce in here up into 6100. You'll trade into it and through it until there is enough sellers to absorb that buying pressure. Okay, so and that's what the order flow is going to show, and of course it has to. So we just don't know when that event might happen, and what yeah, I mean, basically when that might happen. All right, so let's see if there's any questions over here on YouTube. Good morning, Dieter. Okay, and Mr. 36 and DB. Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of hacking around in here. This is kind of interesting. I mean, okay, high liquidity down here at 85. We break through this area here at 60.90, and you know, we saw that that move happen, and then we're looking for these higher moves, the next swing here, and then the next swing up here, where the market dropped from, and around 6100 the figure. Okay, but you can see the order flow in here as well. See how 90 they flipped from offer, and now they're on the bid in here. Okay, we just traded into that and threw it a little bit, and they're bidding up in here. Okay, at 87. So I'm looking for these sellers. We're just about there. Are going to likely trade into this 87 liquidity there, and maybe they have enough selling pressure to come back down to the lows of the day. Okay, now what's the likelihood of that happening? You know, the move here was pretty good, you know, pretty strong. So well, we're finding that selling pressure, and now we are at the lows. Okay, making new lows for the day here. Okay, there's more selling pressure. That I was thinking here that because they're bidding up here and yet again here at 85, that likely we're going to kind of chop around in this range in here. But there's more selling pressure. Okay, now we'll see. Maybe this is a false breakdown, hook a lot of traders, and we find buyers trade it right back in. I mean, that consumer sentiment report from University of Michigan is not, it's not that important. You know, to see the markets react like this is kind of odd. I mean, usually you might get a few points move out of it, but boy, not this big. Now, these are kind of excuses. I feel personally these are kind of excuses for the market to move based off of some of that data. All right, so more liquidity here at 80. We traded into it, and we're a bit through it here. Again, I'm looking for buyers to come back in and trade it back into the range here. Okay, because we traded into that liquidity. The transaction took place here. Okay, so here we go up to 83. That's the first swing. The second one is up here at 85, and maybe we can get to 87 here where we dropped from. Okay, more buyers starting to come in. Okay, let's see if they can get out of this range here at 83 and get up into 85 and 87. So we're going to take a step back and look at the bigger, higher time frame instead of some of these kind of smaller moves in here. But this is what we see at the moment. So looking for that to unfold. The higher time frame stuff, let's take a look here. But before I do that, a couple of things. So if you're new here to Bookmap, or not, if you're even a veteran user in here, just let me show you an update here from the Learning Center. Let me show you how you get there first. At bookmap.com, just click on Education here, and that will take you to the Bookmap Learning Center. There are hundreds of videos in here. They're all free. There's a Getting Started course, get you up and running. There's a Market Mechanics course that talks about how these markets work. And there's some strategies and setups in here, and we're going to be adding a lot more this quarter to this section. So be on the lookout for that, and it will happen this time. I have time to address it. So I'm looking forward to putting some really good strategies for you guys. Anyway, let's continue on. This is what's new here, our event calendar. Check this out. Really great event calendar here. You can input the dates. And see when these events are going to unfold. You can also filter by event types. So we have the different things in here. If you want to look at futures, just click on futures, and you see all the futures trader. They're color coded here, and the webinar events with the date, etc. Let's look at the all markets here, or multiple markets. Okay, so here's me, here's Frank, here's Mayhem. And Scott Pulcini. So looking at multiple markets in here. Now there's a couple different things you can do in here. One is you can click directly on the join to Discord, and that will take you to the Discord page where we will host this event. And here it is. You can see, and you just join in here. That's one way, but you can also click on it here. And then this will open up. Also, there's the link to join here, but you have the link here as well as on Discord, but it tells you when and what times, and you can add it to your calendar. You can also copy the link and share it with others via email. Okay, so great stuff, and would hope you guys find this a lot more friendly and insightful for our calendar. Holidays are going to be on here as well, so I might as well cover that. In fact, you can see we're still kind of working on it a little bit, just some of the kinks, but the March 17th is going to be a holiday. All right, so you will need to take that day off from trading, at least futures and stocks. So you can still trade your crypto markets, but if you need to. So anyway, that's one thing. The other thing in here, so we put together this blog article. It's based off of a webinar that we had not quite a while ago, not too long ago here. And there's many different elements in here that we lifted from the webinar and we put into a blog article. Okay, it's really great that we did this here. We're going to try to do more things like this for you, because these webinars can be really informative. And now you've got to go back and watch an hour-and-a-half webinar though. So instead, we can lift some of these things out of here from that webinar, put them into text, put some imagery in here, and these can also be really good learning tools for you. And there's next steps in here, etc. So let me put this link into the chat for you guys so that you have it. Hold on a minute. Actually, let's take this first. Okay. And then we'll take the link. Okay, there you go. And then over on YouTube, let's just give you the link here to the new article. Because go, click on that, and yeah, go check it out. All right, guys. So yeah, you can see this is turning into a little bit of a trap here. Let's see if we can get the squeeze going here on the buy side. And we're just trading up. We kind of missed it here. Trading up into the liquidity up in here. And this is where price dropped from. So I'm not looking for anything at the moment. But let's see if we can get back down into some of these levels. Maybe down here, and let's see if we get more buyers, or maybe we have to come all the way back down to where these buyers initiated that impulse move here. Okay. Yeah, so as you guys can see, I mean, boy, some of these moves, can be really nice in here. So from 90 on down to 82, like an 8-point move, just like that. So this could be kind of a paradise in here. And this is the ES. And we jump over to the NASDAQ, and yeah, of course you're gonna get more like a 50-point move. Okay. Good stuff. This is the kind of reaction we're looking for, just around that area. All right, higher time frame stuff. Let's dive into that. We've been talking a lot about it, like in the Bookmap Academy meetings, and just in these webinars as well. And a lot of you guys have been covering that in your content as well for the Academy. So some really great stuff. I mean, we're just talking about, it could be anything you're looking at. It really doesn't matter. But you have an edge, or it is a filter that you like, that works well for you, looking at the higher time frame. So for example, this yellow line here is your point of control, okay, based off of the volume. And you can see it started here just around 8:30, and this is over time, this is what the point of control has done, and it's down here now around this 60.96 area. Okay. I would be a little careful. I mean, at least I am a little careful with the point of control. When you see this big move in here, what does it mean? And you think, oh, wow, big shift in point of control. Well, take a look at your profile. Just verify it in here, because sometimes, it doesn't take much to tick this off here. And price can move right back up into here very easily. It's similar profile. It's not that big of a difference here. So if you're using this as kind of like driving away from the area up in here, yeah, maybe, but just be careful that we can drive it back into this area in here. This very easily can become the point of control again. Okay? And if you didn't see, if the profile was, you'd try to draw it instead. Okay, not this profile here, right? What if it was, though, instead something like this? Maybe some little profiles in here, then one big profile like this. Now that would be a different story. Having it move back up into here, you're going to have to see a lot of buy volume to move back up into this area up in here. With the current profile, though, that we see, it maybe just starts to fill in this area a little bit, and it can easily come up into these areas here. Right, so just be careful with that as a filter, just at least that's something that I'm aware of and look at and try to keep in tune with. Sometimes the POC can distract me. All right, so anyway, that's one thing. Let's take also a look at our VWAP in here. Okay, looking at some higher time frame stuff. Here's my VWAP. Anchored VWAP. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to make this from it should be set for I guess I need to set it. Around 9:30. Okay. Okay. Go, and I'm going to give it a white color here. Okay, there we go. Oops. Now we got it. All right. All right, so I have it reset at 9:30 up here, and I'm sorry, right in here. Doesn't look like it though. Anyway, just trying to get an idea of the average price in here, or the trend, and you can see that it's kind of hacking around in here. Although we see the nice little kind of trend to the upside, and then this big move to the downside here, and we're below VWAP, and we're just trading up into kind of point of control at the moment here. So now this is where you have to kind of look at the order flow in some of these areas in here with your higher time frame filter. You can also just look at your candlestick charts. Okay, we have the daily, hourly, and 15-minute here. The daily chart, well, you can see the move up above yesterday's swing and right back down below. Hourly as well, here's the move up, and then after the consumer sentiment, U of M, you see the move right back down. And then here's that little bounce right here on the 15-minute chart after trading back down here. Okay, so I'm kind of curious to see, like, maybe we get a move back up to the figure here, and then maybe we can see if we get a fade here. and trade back down here. And that would be our third attempt down here. And I would look for it to break most likely, and maybe hit the swing low here at 75 or 70, or maybe even lower. Okay, so just outlining some scenarios in here. Or maybe we see the buying pressure continue and we come up into maybe this area up in here around 104. Okay, which would be up in here. I'm sorry, it would be up in here. That actually looks pretty good as well. All right, well, looking pretty choppy still, and you know, here's our move, and here's our trend, or our channel here. Okay, so it's pretty flat. You know, it's not that steep. We are finding more buyers, so still looking for this to kind of go higher up into these areas in here on this higher time frame. Okay, as long as we get our buyers to come up into these areas. See if any questions over on Discord. This kind of reminds me a little bit of your profile. You can reset it if you want, but this is probably going to be a little different than mine because I opened up my Bookmap a little bit later. Stephen. Okay, all right. So you can see, interesting. We make it back up into kind of a previous area here, or high volume node. Hit a little bit of liquidity, not much, and we get the sellers starting to come back in. It's a tricky environment. I mean, this very, very kind of choppy. We had seen this in the Academy meeting yesterday, talking about, like, you know, this trend in here. Well, we look for it to continue until there's, you know, something like well, similar to this. It was a little bit maybe of a harder. Well, we would have looked at it maybe a lower time frame. Some of the buying up here just makes it to the swing. They're not looking for. It doesn't look like it's going to hit some of this areas up here after this exhaustion and sellers coming in. Okay, and the sellers are able to take it down even below this area here, back down to where the buyers initiated here. Okay, and now we're getting a little bit of a bounce. Okay, now we broke the trend. We broke this channel here. All right, so are we now bearish? Well, let's take a look at it here. I'm going to jump over to Trader Map Pro version of it here, so we get a little bit better insight. Okay. Okay, so yeah, on the shorter time frame here, we broke this, came back down into the liquidity and lower here, and tested the swing down here, and then where those buyers came in. All right, so now you can see the buyers are struggling here, and we're going to look at the liquidity in here, but the aggressors, and how many buyers are here relative to the sellers. Okay, I'm seeing more sellers than buyers. Okay, so let's see, where would there be a potential opportunity? Well, maybe some exhaustion up into the area in here. We got a higher volume node, but we also just have, this is kind of where it's starting to break down from. All right, so let's see if those buyers can reach back up to here. And that would be 88 basically. All right, now we can start to put this into a trading plan in here. Now, I don't think this is a very good setup, but let me just just bear with me for a moment here. If you are kind of more of a mean reversion type of trader, you'd be looking for first things first in your checklist, trading into high liquidity. Okay, we kind of hit some of it, but it's not that much. This is a much better level down here between 82 and 81. Okay, so that's number one. We look for that. Then number two is we look for those aggressors to start to come in, and we're setting our target was here at 88, I guess, or so. Yeah, 88. Right. That's it. Just looking for 88. That trade would have been done and completed here, and you look for the next thing. Okay, buyers still trying here, but look at this in here. It's getting kind of interesting. We're getting buyers in here in this kind of micro trend, but they failed to make a high up here. Okay, so they're kind of on their back foot with not being able to lift the market here. Okay, so now do we get sellers in here breaking the trend and some sell volume? Yep, we're getting it. Okay, so let's see now if we can, a small pullback after hitting liquidity. Now let's see if those sellers can roll in again and trade back down to this 81 and 80 level. And how are we doing over on YouTube? All right, kind of quiet over on YouTube. Learning a lot. Okay, Mr. 36, excellent. Yeah, well, now we're kind of keying on, like, we see the buyers coming in, but they're failing to really make a higher high here. But we're seeing them come in. The issue is, like, can they gain the traction? And here they go. They're going to try. Okay, so they're hitting high liquidity. Now, this could be a really nice failure up here, though. Okay, so let's take a look here and let's watch for this. I'd be looking for trading into high liquidity up in here and then a retest back down to 90. Okay, and then maybe you can trade through it on high selling back down to lower levels here. All right, so here we go. Let's see if they can do it. It's pretty choppy. Oh, we're getting more buyers up here. Now they're able to sustain this. See, we were looking for maybe that false breakdown, or outside of the area, back in, and then back down on these lower levels here. But buyers are curling back in and trading back up to not only where it dropped from here, but it looks like it wants to come up into the kind of 95, 96 level here of high liquidity. There we go. Okay. Use our new channel tool here. And we can extend this. Let's put our higher time frame on here as well with our VWAPs. And let's put in, we can put in POC as well. Guys, this is actually pretty nice up here. Kind of missed that one. But here's what we have in here. I was looking for it to trade up into some of this areas of liquidity up here. But this is something, a really important element to cover in the order flow phenomena. Is, you know, here's the aggressive buyers trading into high liquidity on the way up. We get a bit of a pullback, which is anticipated, right? After trading into high liquidity, maybe even deeper pullback someplace around here, or even all the way down to 90. But then on the retest back up in here, look at the buying on the second leg here, and we can zoom in and look at it in more detail. But this is where there's just not enough buying in here, and there's a little bit of a cluster of selling in here. This is where you can start to use some of the divergence. You know, you can see it in here. There's small divergence on this one, but it's kind of making an equal high, but it is basically exhausting out. And there's more selling in here. If there's not enough buying up in here to reach some of this liquidity in here, we'll look for the sellers to trade it back in. And that's exactly what they did. Okay, now here the buyers are again. Maybe this is low enough to find some buyers to reach back up into these areas here. Okay, so in the academy, this is what we do. We look for putting together a checklist of some of these elements in here that will create us just kind of the stage for building a trading plan. And it happens through a checklist. And then going through that checklist many times over, starting to get an understanding of the behavior for what you're looking for. Okay, so if you have high liquidity at a top of a range, and then you have a retest up in here, and you have exhaustion in here, you start to see there's a cluster selling beforehand, exhaustion here, and then more selling down in here. Then you can start to look for building out your trading plan to take it back down to where it broke out from, or back down into some of the these other areas. It could be a small a high volume node down here. It could be high liquidity, etc. That's how you'd put it together in your checklist, what you'd look for, and does it check the box? If it does, you've got a trading plan that's workable. Okay? Now you just need to repeat it and hone it and get good at it. We recommend that you use the replay mode to help you. You can record this data in Bookmap and then replay it later. It was great to see, heartwarming, in fact, to see that in the Academy meeting. Shark, Rob, actually didn't see you doing it, but I know you were trading. It was a live trade, from your content. I think Stevens was live as well, but Rob and no, I'm sorry, it was Shark, it was Laura, and Trading is Life, or who, I forget who else it was, but some really, really good stuff, going through and understanding how to use Bookmap and then hone your craft using replay mode, and then do it again and again and again. Shark, you were awesome yesterday. It was really, really great to see. All right, so now where are we now? All right, well, let's take a look. It's pretty choppy. We're trading into high liquidity. Okay, we're at the bottom of this range. We're starting to break it, actually, this trend channel that we have here. Okay, but maybe we just come down to this swing here, and then we look for maybe buyers to come back in, and then maybe trade it back into, well, maybe point of control up here, maybe the swing right here. Now let's turn on the trading and take a look in here, okay? And we'll back it up with some trade management. I'm going to take the brackets off in here because we're going to have to kind of get in and out pretty quickly in here. Okay. There's thanks Steven. So you put in your replay link to your replay files in there. Over here in Discord, guys. Over on YouTube, if you you want to start to engage in the community in Bookmap, there's no cost to it. You will need to register on our website, but then you get full access to everything. Basically, you can download the free version and get up and running and kind of play along, and then partake in the community here. And use that replay mode as well. Okay, so all right, so what's going on in here? Well, more selling. Okay, at the swing now, more selling. This was the pullback here. I don't see a lot of buying coming in yet. Okay, so we're looking for continuation to the downside in here. All right, so if that is the case, then this pullback here, okay, right to this little area in here. All right, a high volume node. Let's see. Okay, now do we see some selling starting to come in? Okay, now we just traded into high liquidity on the way down. Okay, so a bounce out of that area looks pretty good. Okay, now here's our retest. Well, now look at the retest here. This is not our double top. It broke it, and it broke it on more buy volume. Okay, so buyers are now going to take it a little bit higher here. Okay, finding more buyers. Back into the range now. Back to POC. And what's our POC look like here? Yeah, it's pretty good. High volume node here. There's another one up here. This is the building potential POC here. Okay. So yeah, we found a few sellers here to take it back down. Stephen, so okay, so you're saying still you're looking for 690, um, the POC. Well, at least that's my POC. Um, and you said you've got a naked POC, untested one down at 60.75 and 3/4. Okay, so now why is it, the naked VPOC important? What is the concept behind it? Just because it's called the naked point of control. What's important about it? Why do people look at it? And I just think it's really important to cover these types of things, because once we start to understand the concept behind it, like, you can judge it for yourself in a much better light. Instead of like there's all sorts of gurus on YouTube or social media telling you to trade this way and that way, and I think it can be really dangerous. Instead of just because it's hitting a line in here. Now here we have some exhaustion, right? Hitting this line up in here. So now we're looking for aggressive sellers to come in. And we're going to look at the auction in here. And if we do get some selling in here after this exhaustion up here, well, then I'm looking for the sellers to take it down. Maybe we can get down into that 60.75. Okay? And we can start to look for even like placing orders in here. Okay, like maybe this is we'll see if this is a false breakout here, or just a test of the range up here, and then we'll see if we can get sellers come in. All right, so now we're filled here. And now again, this is not a trade recommendation. We don't do that in here. We want to show also just trade management and how we can consider some of these trades. And the management is really where, in my mind, the rubber really meets the road here. So you got your entries, exits, and trade management. We don't know, right? But we're looking for trading up in here, and we saw some of this exhaustion. We get another test up here. Now, I don't know. If I start to see buyers building up here at 90, I'm going to get out. Like, it's not doing what I'm looking for. Yeah, so I'm out, right? That's not what I want to see. Okay, I'm looking for this and sellers, and then continuation. Right, and this is what happened. Instead, it's building buying support, and it's not much in here, but this is something where now I know the buyers have enough power to move it away. Yeah, hold on just a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So like you're saying that Tom was talking about it yesterday. This is the most traded level from yesterday, and it hasn't been tested, right? Exactly. Well, what's auction market theory though? And what are kind of the tenets of auction market theory? And why do you follow them, or why? It's if you have your reasons, you start to understand it. Like if it's cumulative volume delta, if it's something else, whatever it might be, that you're trading, you know it. You know it really well. You don't have to you don't have to be like an engineer to drive a car, but to drive a car, you want to be a really good driver. So you better know your controls. You better know like more of how to take a corner, and maybe you have other people who are race car drivers telling you this is how you take a corner, this is how I take a corner. Oh, well, that's something good. Check it out though, try it, see if it works for you. Can you understand it? Does it resonate? Can you apply that? Once you digest it and understand it, can you apply that to your trading? Okay, so look at the selling come in just out of the blue like this. So this is kind of a squeeze here. So, we trade up into this area up in here, and then heavy selling, just like that. Now this looks like some news. Okay, so anyone who this is a pretty big move here. Okay, out of the blue like this. And if you had your stop down here, you could be getting filled down here with some of these moves. It's wicked. This is wicked stuff. Now, I don't know what someone's got their news feeds up, but to me it looks like someone's saying something. Something happened. Okay, look at these areas in here, at least from the data that I have right now. Okay, Trump possibly speaking. These areas in here will likely get tested. Maybe not today, but depending on the news. But there was nothing that auctioned here or up in here or up in here. Right, so we can look for that once we start to see maybe the order flow start to turn around. Okay, we need to look for buyers. And where will there be buyers? At a certain area where the buyers absorb it on the bid, and we start to see these green dots come in and lift it back up into these areas here. Okay, so here's our first test back up to here. Okay, likely a fade back, we'll see. And then after about 55 or so, let's see if we can break that, and then, I'm sorry, go higher now. Okay, so yeah. All right, so we're testing that first little gap. See these little gaps in the profile, or you can see them over here too. It might be my lack of data due to that really quick move. I'm not sure. It looks to me like it's fine. I didn't have any data loss. Looks like, but anyway, so yeah, we're trading back into these levels here and testing them. This can be really challenging trading. Now, when you're on the right side of it and you're watching your news feeds and you got a feel for it, hey, it can be fantastic. But if you're looking for your setup and your checklist, and then this just blows it out of the water and you get slipped maybe 10 points or 5 points or something like that, it can be really challenging. It can be really frustrating. Small number in the bottom left. I'm not sure what you mean, Vince. Here, this one here, 1800. It's volume, and is based off of kind of a guide or reference. So this big spike in here was we don't know exactly. I mean, you can kind of hover over it here in the volume dot, but it's a volume dot. It's not the bar, right? So this is roughly around 1600 or so. That the size of this bar here. So that's how many contracts were traded in here, basically. So that's all it is. It's just a reference. So you can kind of roundabout, get an idea. We zoom in, like that number is going to change. Now it's 250, and you can see that the spike in here is around 250. Okay, so it'll give you that reference. Yeah, Stephen, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, it was really good going over your content yesterday, Stephen, um, in the Academy Bookmap Academy meeting. And you're saying it's looking like a volatile day, trying to keep it clean and simple. I mean, this just is difficult. And actually, this is easier, I find. That, I don't know where it's going to happen. I'm looking for absorption on the bid. But just like we were talking about, that these areas in here are gaps. There was no auction in here. And if this is just jawboning from, a Fed speaker or a politician or, something like that, then this is just a big reaction and likely, looking for these areas to kind of fill back in, at least be tested. This is no different than a gap, from the previous day's session, for example. It's the same exact concept. So depending on what it is, though, that move that market is what really matters, because uh, if this was something significant, um, and there was a lot of people on the sell side here, well, this wouldn't stop down here. We might get a little pullback, but this would continue to the downside. These gaps are meaningless in that regard. Okay, else if it's not, and this is just really kind of cleaning out the market, then retesting back into these areas is pretty likely. Oh yeah, you got your sell stops up. Yeah, I should put that on. um yeah, thanks, Steven. Oh, not here. On back to this chart. I've got it filtered for 20. But yeah, I mean, it just cleans everybody out here, and start to build volume again. A whole new profile starts to build. If you guys are looking for like that bigger mean reversion trade, well, I mean, here it is. This is where it dropped from up here. POC is way up here still. And it will likely, like I said, if that news event, if it's significant, and the reaction is selling, well, there's going to be more sellers coming. We're not going to come back here probably today. It'll start to trend away from it. Instead, you're going to get kind of a bit of a profile here, a gap, a bit of a profile here, and then a gap, and then another profile. Now it would look something like that. So here's your big, POC. Here's a profile. You get another one, etc. Yeah, I still don't know what the event is, but we're starting to find more sellers again. Mr. No Luck, we missed you in the Academy meeting yesterday. Nice to see you back, though. Yeah, yeah, I think so too. It's starting to look like bears in control. Um, this is such an important thing. Another way to look at your higher time frames that we've looked at in here for order flow forever, in Bookmap, is this is the sellers being in control. There's no doubt about that. And then, we got a retracement back here to, this high liquidity up here, that it kind of blazed right through. You've got a gap up in here that was kind of tested, right? Now, can sellers bring it back down to the swing? Okay, so we're, based off of this move in here, we're sell side. We're looking sell side. Okay, now that idea and concept is again replicable on multiple time frames. So for example, here's another move here on the sell side. Here's a pullback. Here's another move on the sell side. Here's a pullback. Here's another move on the sell side. Now look at it now though. Okay, on the smaller time frame in here, this is a move back by the buyers, but now they have a little more buying power after trading into some liquidity here and starting to find some buyers here. Okay, so now our buyers going to try to take control. If so, where would they go? Well, probably up into where these areas are up in here, because that's where the sellers are that need to be tested. Okay, there's some in here as well. We need to get through that. Okay, now let's see, do we get buyers in here? And then depending on, let's not look at that. Depending on what time frame you are trading and your trading plan, if you check the boxes in here, you can look for that move. Okay, so here, bottom of this little range. Okay, maybe some bidding here. There's our buyers. No. Okay, pullback. Okay, now do we get buyers in here though on this pullback? No, not yet. All right, they're starting to show. Okay, now this is like a counter trend trade too. Okay, let's see if we get enough here. No, no, exhaust out. Okay, so now these buyers that were trying to take control, they couldn't get back up above the swing here or some of the areas here. Here they go again though. Okay, so we went down lower, we found enough buyers. Now they're coming back in. Okay, and let's see if they can break that high. And we're just going to try to ride along with them. So we're looking for them to maybe come up to here, up at 70. Right? We want to see them test these sellers here. Okay? And if they can, the next test would be up here, 74. Okay, and we always front run the liquidity a little bit by a tick or two. All right, so we're filled, and we're just looking for that move. And okay, what was nice about this one here was that let's take a look at it, because we were looking for it here and it failed, right? But we started to note it. High liquidity on the bid, filled. Buyers starting to come back in, and just this little example in here on this smaller time frame. Sellers pull back, sellers pull back, sellers. This is not like a pullback here. This is a little different now. Look at the after trading into high liquidity here, we're starting to find more buyers, and they can take it up to here. And then we were looking for maybe a pullback. I was looking for it right around here, and then the buyers to come back in and then do that move. Well, we came back down all the way here, then we found them here, and then we jumped on the train here, and then rode it up to this 70 level here. Okay, so that was it. There was some momentum in here after trading back down to this area here. We found enough in here, and that's where it started to look pretty good for it to continue at least to trade up into some of this liquidity. Now, this was the next level that we were looking for, and we're already above it here. But now I would look for some selling to start to come in after trading into high liquidity. Again, it's the same old story basically. Where are the sellers? Did they get filled? Okay, so limit sell orders. Did they get filled? Did the buyers meet the sellers? Okay, and then what's the reaction after that? Okay, so you can see that there was a pullback here, but we're starting to find again more interest here. So I'd be looking for them to try to reach into this liquidity here at 79. No worries, Mr. Nolak. No, understood. If you're busy, you were coding, programming. No, it's just yeah, it's just great having you, and the academy, and creating some really good content there. Let's see, over in Discord, Rob, I think you were. It was good to go over your stuff yesterday as well, and starting to well, see you evolving, and gaining confidence with the way that you're trading, and then a little bit of a setback. Okay, these setbacks are going to happen time and time and time again. Just note that, and you'll kind of I just think it's really important to have like a thicker skin. Now, for example, I had mentioned the other day, like my Monday and Tuesday here this week was not good. I got caught up in some stuff on different time frames, and like a misreading of order flow, or it didn't pan out the way, or I held too long and mismanaged it. Like this move here, I'm just looking for it to come up to here. I don't know what's going to happen after that. Now it came all the way, up to 77. I could have gotten another 7 or 8 points out of it. I already took what, 63 to 69 or so, six or 7 points, and then that was only half of what I could have gotten out of this. But I don't know that, and this was my plan. This was what I was looking for. That's where I'll take my profit. Now, I can go back and look at this and say, like, well, if I still see tons of buying up in here, well, maybe I'm still looking for it to press higher. And then I'd lift my stop. But this is what I'm looking for, and it helps build that confidence. And look for the next one. And here's what I wanted to cover here was actually he's a Bookmap user. Let me show you. In fact, let me show you this. You can go to here on our YouTube channel, and there's a playlist for Carmine Rosato here. Okay, and he's done 3 different webinars with us, and hopefully he'll do another one here soon. What I want to show is we'll go to his channel. Okay. No, that's not it. Yeah, hold on a minute. I know his, here it is. Okay, so we'll go to his channel for a second here. Okay, now this is what I want to show is like, um, how he was this it here? I can't recall if it was, this was it here, or maybe it was somewhere else. Maybe he changed the thumbnail. It might be this one here. So what I want to show is, and just demo like how he. This is not it. This is from some months ago. This was just recently here. How about we go to this? Yeah, it's this one here. Okay, so you know, he talks about the streak of down days that he had, and like how this really mentally challenged him. And he's a veteran trader. You know, he's been trading for a while, and yet these things affect you. You know, he had a string of losses after loss after loss after loss, and then like, you know, had to kind of step back, reevaluate, and wait and come back. And he talks about like how this was hard on him, and it starts to really kind of creep into your psyche, and you make maybe bad trading decisions, or you don't believe in your process anymore, and that's brutal. So losses are going to happen. How you recover from them, you go back and be objective and just trade your plan. Or maybe you need to kind of look at the environment you're trading in and adjust your plan. Okay, like right now, these are big swings, and this happened out of the blue. I mean, clearly, you know, someone said something. It went from 94 down to 54. All right, huge move, and just like that, in a matter of like a minute or something, right? Or maybe less. Let's see here. Yeah, just about less than a minute. Okay, uh, just blows people out, and you know, we don't know when that's going to happen, and that will happen in these markets. Okay, so we have to be kind of careful, and that's the environment that we're in. Okay, all right, let's take a look here, and what's going on in current price action. Okay, well, so far so good. This was the kind of structure here that you can see we're testing here, and we're finding buyers again. Okay, so now who's in control? Well, it doesn't really, it looks like to me like there are more buyers here on this move up. Okay, and then you can see in CVD, for example, all of this back and forth in here, there's still more buyers in here. Okay, so now I'd be looking for more buyers to try to take it up to 73. Okay, but now let's just zoom into here and see what's going on, right? Because this is where we're going to look for the setup. Okay, trading down here, do we get our buyers? Yeah. All right, now are they able to lift it up here to 73, 72 and a half, 73? Okay, that's where we're looking for taking our profit, where the buyers meet the sellers. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's a quick little scalp right there. I mean, this environment in here can be, like I said, it can be really challenging, or you know, it can be really profitable as well in very, very quick, short moves. Now, we traded up to here, we're out. Okay, so maybe this is, you know, we're not looking for a bigger move out of this right now. Okay? I mean, we know buyers are still in control. Well, maybe the next level is up here, 74, or maybe up here at 76 and maybe above the swing. Okay, but this was the move we're looking for, where the buyers meet the sellers, pull back, and then again, more buyers starting to come back in. I hope this is helpful. Just wanted to go through, is tariff talk again? Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, totally makes sense. And Yeah. Anyway, we're putting with that in mind, with this environment in mind, we're putting together a way to uh, take some money out of the market via the order flow here in Bookmap. Again, guys, this is not a trading room. It's an order flow room, and reading it, understanding it, and applying it. And I just think it's really important that you understand how to manage uh, the order flow or your trade within the order flow once you're in it. Okay, because that's really where it matters. All right, so this was what we kind of assumed, that we'd buyers in control. Okay, and yeah, thanks for coming back in, Mr. No Luck, about that. That's great stuff. I mean, you know, again, higher time frame filters in here. Okay? It doesn't have to be a line on a chart, right? Look at the buyers come in now. So now it looks like that mean reversion trade. Okay, with hand over fist in here, and we'll see though, right? You can see it trade traded right up into this area here and right back down here as well. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, most likely we'll trade back up into the mean up in here, but I don't like it. There's kind of a tapered edge up in here. Here tons and tons of buying comes in, but look up in here how it kind of, see how it kind of tapers off. Look at the it's probably best to look here. Show you how it tapers off in here, right? That's up in here. That's not where we want to see it. I see this in crypto all the time. And it can be really deadly because you think, oh, they're in control. I'm just looking for a small pullback to here, and I'm in, and it's likely to come up here, and it's not. It's likely to come back down to here, and then maybe you'll find some buyers. Okay, because it's kind of tapered at the upper edge in here. We trade into high liquidity through this area here, here, and then we're starting to exhaust out. Okay, and that's why the sellers can come back in and trade back down into these areas here. Okay, keep this in mind. Like I said, crypto does this all the time, and a lot of times what it does as well. Let me just kind of demo this. You'll see this happen also in the S&P or all markets, but I see it more often in crypto, and it's good to learn from these different markets and behavior. Here's nice selling here, right? Well, you might see the sellers continue on through that area with heavy selling, and then it dries out, down in here, it wanes. And then you'll have the buyers start to come in, and then they will be able to lift it right back up to this area right here, and then it just chops in there. Okay, so it's here in the order flow, and well, the transactions, I should say, it's here in the transactions. The order flow as well. The order flow I refer to as the limit buy and sell orders in the order book. Okay, the transactions is something else. I hope that makes sense. Rob, you got to, I mean, I just protect your confidence. What's your setup? Did you follow it? And if not, and it kind of blew you out, uh, why? Like, was it your fault? What did you do wrong, or was it just the market? I mean, like, look, guys, the only thing that, like this here, what can you do about that? All you can do is maybe have your news feeds up, and maybe you need to subscribe to a news feed that's really really quick. You got to keep an eye on it. You have to keep an eye on, is Trump scheduled to speak, or is a Fed speaker scheduled to speak? Then, if that's the case, then prepare for it. Okay? Be flat beforehand. This is what can happen in this kind of environment. And you think, well, maybe it will be okay. And maybe it would be. Okay, but if it wasn't okay, you could be slipped 10 points in here very easily. I mean, do we have any kind of awareness of this in the order flow? If someone's scheduled to speak, you will see the order flow start to dry up around this area in here. Limit buy and sell orders are pulled. I don't see that. Okay, so it just traded, and it just went and it moved. Okay, so that's another thing to just keep in mind to reduce the risk and just build some confidence in here. Once you start to build that confidence, you'll say no to some of these trades. It's like, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, I really prefer Mr. No Luck to, I really do, is to prefer not lines on a chart. I've been covering it because others have in their content, and a lot of other people look at it. But just I really prefer to understand. I know that this is selling pressure moving away, right? There's no question about it. And then this is another leg of that here, but it happened to be maybe some news. Okay, now that's on those time frames. So we are still sell side here. Okay, so then where's your setup? What are you looking for? And then what's the order flow look like? Now you can start to drill in to other time frames in here. Okay, like this, for example. Well, there's some pretty nice buying in here on the way up. And are they starting to take control of this market here? Well, they're bidding up in here, but they haven't gotten filled yet. I want to see the transaction take place. I want to see these buyers here take on the sellers, or the opposite. The aggressive sellers trade into them and try to trade through them. Okay. Now what we're going to look for is exhaustion on the sell side, and then maybe aggressive buyers come in. Okay, so let's see if we can get that. Okay, just for this move. Okay, and I would look for it to trade back to maybe this 69 level here. And how did it tested up here twice and it failed? Okay, so now here's the attack, here's the mount. Can they get up here and trade up here and break it on size? All right, yeah, there they go. So now we're just looking for it to come up to here, 69. That's it. Now it can't make it. Right, so this is another failure here. Now buyers may come in and reattack again, or sellers at that point just may take control and move it. Okay, but what do we have in here? And this is a counter trend trade at this point, but we've got this liquidity all filled, and now this as well. There's still some down below. Okay, but where do we find the aggressive buyers? The green dots come in, okay, and start to lift this. And not yet. Okay, but we identified the buyers on the way down. Now we're going to look for the auction at these little edges up in here. That's not enough. That's not enough for me. I want to see that distinction. That's looking a little bit better. No, not going to unfold. Okay, again, I'm anticipating a bounce out of this here. In fact, I'm just going to take it, right? Now, where might it go? Well, maybe up to about here, right? Now, I just think that we've traded enough, and this is more speculative. It's not really a trading plan or anything like that. We've just hit a lot of liquidity on the way down. Okay, so I'm looking for, now we're low enough, and I'm looking for buyers to come in, aggressive buyers to come in and retest some of these areas where the sellers came in. And that's it, right? Okay, so yeah, we're filled on that one as well. Now again, like this is kind of catching that falling knife here. It's not a, if you want to study this and put it into a trading plan, I think you need a lot more, right? This was more of kind of a reactionary thing and a move back to here, and that's it, right? Now, like for example, a donkey face who looks exactly at this setup. This is his setup, okay? But I don't know how much liquidity he's looking for being filled on the way down, but I'm definitely looking at that. And I'm looking for a lot. And then I'm looking for pockets of buying. Here, let me show you. In some of these areas. Okay? And we had some of that. So I know that there's some buying interest. They're just not able to lift it yet. Okay? So we trade back down into that high liquidity here again. And then now I'm looking for those buyers. Okay, it's enough. And we get a few. We're just looking for them to trade back up in here. And maybe they can take control. And move back up to even here, 69 or 70 here. Okay, and this is turning into maybe a flag pattern as well. Yeah, I got to identify your locations before diving into the setup. Otherwise, you get caught off guard into a wall every time. Well, every now and then, just about every time it feels like. Have your reasons for it. The reasons for this little scalp in here is very scant. Anyway, guys. All right. Oh, look, I'm over my time limit. So Tom B is up next. No, I think he maybe even started. Let me see here. I didn't have NQ up. SW. Yeah, I didn't have any stops or the take profits were just limits. I placed separately as well. Troglodyte. Again, this is just to kind of show like some of these areas in here and some trade management along with it. Okay, entries and exits, etc. So that's come over to the Bookmap Academy and the Discord room here if you want to look for more insight. We've got a great community that will, as you guys know, that will you can bounce ideas around with them, and you buddy up with some of the guys in there, study certain things, start to hone your craft, what you're looking for, and get really, really good at it. Build that confidence, and then just slowly grow. Setbacks are going to happen. It's inevitable. Okay, it's imminent. So anticipate that. All right. Anyway, guys, yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Yeah, check out our blog article here that I had mentioned, or I'll put it back in the chat for you. It's from this webinar here about order flow breakouts, trends, trap traders, and stop runs here. And I'll put it into the chat for you, so that if you guys want to go check it out, it breaks down all these elements that we just mentioned in here. Start to look for them, and start to understand some of these things in here. Go back and replay the file from today's action, and look for some of these things to unfold here. Okay, so yeah, here you can see, like, we're not making this stuff up. There's selling that came in here, back down to where the buying came in, and the limit buys were lined up in here. This is a deal down here for them. Okay, and they didn't get filled. They're bidding up in here, but the sellers didn't take them on. Instead, you get the aggressors come in. Now they've traded up to here, okay, and that has happened. Okay, that was our next level, right? We drew it in here. So we're looking for that 70 liquidity up in here to trade. And now buyers are starting to take control again. Okay. Anyway, guys, it repeats again and again. Be careful out there in this environment, and curtail or edit your plan to fit the environment that you're in, right? Okay, thanks everybody, and we will catch up with you next time. Let me put this back into I'm sorry, this room didn't put it in here for you guys in YouTube. Okay, so you got the link here. There you go. It's just a good review of some of the things that are mentioned there in the blog article of breakouts, trends, trap traders, and stop runs. Okay, and you'll see it in today's action all over the place. Thanks everybody. We'll catch up with you on Monday. All right. Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.